It started as a dream, and now it's reality, and Game 2 of the playoffs cannot be any more real. Jay Banfield, assistant coach, thanks for hanging out, and what a special day today is, huh?
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad that you're here, and I know, Game 3 or 4 of the season, we talked, and you said that this was a dream come true to be out here. Here we are, Game 46, with the season on the line, and a big game tonight. How's that transition been from, the early of the season to today, and has anything changed for you in those 46 games?
Well, yeah, I remember that we were sitting at Brewster, I think
up on the weird hill.
Exactly, on the weird hill. I wouldn't have called it that, but yeah, on the weird hill talking about this. And yeah, it's amazing to be sitting in this spot. There's nothing better than the playoffs and the Cape. I mean, playoff baseball is what it's all about, right? Everything's on the line, especially here. It's an elimination game. Boys seem really loose, but for me, I've learned so much just watching these guys, being around them, seeing how a season works. It's been pretty phenomenal.
So you've had a cool, opportunity of coaching first base at times. You've been hanging out in the dugout. You've been working out on off days and everything like that. And you've also coached playoff games and everything in between. If you can think of something that really has stood out this season that might be a favorite memory or just something that surprised you in just the fact of how fun it was, what do you think it would be?
Well, it's funny. In the dugout, we were talking about what are some of the things that we'd never seen before. So one of those that stands out for me is when Kokoska was pitching against Wareham, and that ball goes off his shoulder, and it was up high enough in the air, it seemed like it was up there for 10 seconds, where he looked up in the air and was able to turn 180 degrees and find it and catch it barehanded. So there, in baseball, there are just things that you've never seen before, and so that certainly happened this year. It's been fun for me to do a little bit of mental skills work with the boys, and so I know you caught some of that during the season. It's nice to think about the values that Skip has kind of incorporated here with the Firebirds, and thinking about understanding your why, knowing your purpose, making mindful decisions, and understanding what your Cape legacy is. And to think about how to translate that into some exercises for, the guys to be able to explore that and understand why they're here. And so that was really fun to watch. It
was for me too.
Yeah. So that was really cool on a personal level. And then just the consistency. There's a cliche about baseball is like take it one game at a time. Actually, I was texting with someone on the ride over here, and it's really one pitch at a time.
Yeah.
And you really can't get too high and too low in baseball. And so, when someone's gonna hit a home run, you can't overreact. And when you start to string hits together, you got to be, you have to have your composure. So I've learned a lot about that and kind of staying steady. That's been a fun thing.
Yeah, and this season, I think the season as a whole has been a roller coaster, and last night's game was probably a fantastic representation of that, and the fact you guys were down 7-1, score 5 runs with a tying run on base, and just couldn't get it done. The ball doesn't bounce your way all the time.
Yeah.
From last night to today, I've got to think those 5 runs in the 9th inning has got to help you guys out in just terms of confidence going into today's game.
Yeah, I think so. I think about the momentum and being in the dugout and feeling the energy in the dugout. We don't take that for granted, and hopefully that will roll over to today. That I think Skip has talked about this, it really demonstrates the grit and the character of these guys. Down 7-1, it have been really easy to roll over, and it's like in that dugout, it's like, why not? Let's see what can happen. And so it'll be a good test for us in the first couple innings to see whether that carries forward into today. I think it will, because if they hadn't kind of bounced off the carpet last night, it'd be rough to have this game. So I think it'll help us a lot.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm going to take you back to what you mentioned in terms of your mindful exercises with the guys. As last night took a lot of exercise from the mind to get back into the game and pull that grit, like you just said. But a few weeks ago, you had the team stand in a circle and all step up and say, who they play for, what they play for, and what inspires them in life. And you kind of led a really cool discussion on that. I'm wondering kind of how that was for you personally, and because it seemed like you just really were loving that, and it seemed like it meant a lot to all the guys too.
Well, I hope it meant something to them. This is hard work, right? Playing baseball there's nothing more fun in the world than that. And it's also hard work.
Right.
These guys are grinding, and we had a bunch of games that were called early in the season because of rain. So we've been playing day after day after day.
A lot of baseball,
and and that's hard. So sometimes you have to remember why it is that you do what you do, because these guys are making a choice. They don't have to be here, right? And so they made a decision consciously to come to the Cape for themselves, and I think they're representing those people who helped them along the way. And I think it's important in life to step back and remember remember those people or remember those circumstances that propelled you to where you are today to give you more focus and give you some energy and motivation. You need that. I mean, look, I think you need that all the time, but especially when you're facing adverse conditions, you need to remember that. And I've been talking to some of the guys independently before the playoffs to just sort of reset, like, why are you here? Like, remember your why, remember your purpose. What do you want to achieve? Because it's, this is the next phase in that journey.
Yeah, especially when, there's been, 100 innings of baseball straight with no break, and you're into the playoffs, and the season could end tomorrow or the next day, and a lot of guys are probably dog-tired, and they're thinking, I think I'm done, but, this next couple days could mean so much to really the history of the Orleans Firebirds for the rest of these guys' lives. And it's cool that you're talking with all of them and, creating those relationships. And I think my favorite part of this entire summer has been the relationships created. And I think it's fun to watch you create that with not only the coaches and the people of Orleans, but also the players too. How's that been for you this summer?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's all about relationships, right? I mean, the record books will be there, and that co-championship will never go away, right? And so that's in the record books. But the things that really last and are really enduring are the relationships. I think about, I hope I'm staying connected with you for years and years to come.
Come on now, come on.
And when you're hosting the Olympics, I want to make sure that you invite me to come in and into at least some of the
Well, you're the breaking
events.
news guy, right? You're the one. You're stealing my job one day.
That's all I want. Everyone listen to this, right? I want tickets to the Olympics and I don't know what year it's going to be, 2032. But it's all about the relationships. That's, as human beings, that's what we crave. We crave meaning and we want to matter. And so you come to a place like this and you build relationships among the team, with the community. I think about, when you're a Firebird, right? You're going to be a Firebird for the rest of your life, and you take that seriously and you remain connected with people. So that's a really important piece of the puzzle in my mind.
It really is an amazing fraternity. Thanks so much for your time, not only today, but all season. It's been so much fun talking with you. We got a lot of baseball to play and not done yet, huh?
Oh, we got about a week left. We're going back to the hill. Let's take it back to the hill. We're not done yet. Taking
it back to the hill. We are done here on the Bird's Eye View pregame show, but the Firebirds are not done yet. Big game coming up. Jay Banfield, thanks so much again.
Thanks, Scotty.